Welcome to the Commander Smiths. I'm going to have to get used to that shit.
We are the Commander Smiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
It's so weird when one of us goes on a vacation and we like miss a weekend. It's been a week and a half. It feels like it's been like a month. Like it feels like it's forever since we've done this. Doesn't it?
I guess.
Maybe
you're right.
A little bit.
You're right.
It's like how do we do this?
A really short summer vacation, and you go back to school, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna go over addition again because you're all idiots." And not you guys, us, me specifically.
Right. Did you just call all our listeners idiots? Is that what you just did, Larry?
I was specifying me.
Hashtag Urzas for life.
I came home and I went to my wife and I was like, "What is magic?" And that was kind of just how it is. I've taken a full break. Didn't even look at Discord.
You're a liar.
Magic cards.
You're a liar.
You're right. I really enjoy my Judith deck now. Talked a couple of decks with other people. It was a lot of nap time for the kids, and then me just laying in a bed next to them. And that what else?
You couldn't even get away
better
from
than
it.
Just looking at magic cards and building decks and stuff like that. Come
on. You can't even get away from it. I even kind of checked out on your spring break. I was like, all right, I'm going to work on the technical stuff. As you can see here, people that are watching,
right.
We have the new Malorto meter there. We have, as you can see, the donation this way. Nope. There we go. I'm going to get it someday. All the whatever. Nope. Damn it. I hate this. Right. Anyways, the names, anytime, if you guys pledge any money while we're live, especially for the Malort stuff, it will pop up there and it will show up there. And if you subscribe while we're live, that's the only way it pops up. If you subscribe while we're live, it'll stay there. But if you do it when we're not live, it won't be there. And if you become a patron, all that fun stuff. And we have like cool little, I guess they're widgets is what they're called. So like our little pop-up before was like a zombie hand. Now it's us. So you have like,
yeah, new cartoon versions of us.
Yeah. So, let's show it really quick. I think I can do a test while we're live. Let's see. So here goes like if somebody subscribed right now. Boom, the Commander Smith subscribed. Look at that. And then we give a little thumbs up. It's me and you right there. Look at that.
Cool looking robe and armor.
Target tiger robe. And then if you tip some monies for the Malort, which we got to see, watch this. Malort.
Wait, did that just happen?
No, that was just.
Oh, this is the test donation.
Yeah, yeah, test donation.
Who's John?
It just does a random name just to kind of show you that it works and everything. Speaking of Malort, I should show this really quick since we are at that. We do have a new Malort, and it is back in play. So
yeah, what is it called? What is this one called?
This one we did a vote on YouTube and. Painkiller is the winner. It got 39% of the vote. The Greyhound was the one that was in the lead for the longest time, but Painkiller is pineapple juice, orange juice, coconut milk, or whatever.
Coconut cream.
Whatever. I couldn't find
Oh, no, they're different.
Are they?
They're very different.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I got cream or milk, so hopefully if we won't
milk is like it's like milk, and then the cream is like cream. I don't know how better to explain it.
I went through so many aisles. I know it did say cream, but I couldn't find the cream, so I got the milk. So I got
Google that shit and be like, okay, now I know it. Because cream of coconut was a weird way for them to say it on the list that you sent me.
Yes.
So I think that's what threw me, and then I just kind of was like, is cream of? Do you not make like dishes that include milk, coconut milk, or cream?
No.
Oh, you should.
No.
It's so good. No. Like curries. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
So when we hit this goal, which now it's in play, there's a new one every month. We are at our new month at this point, and as you can see right there, RoboCop was our last one to donate, and you can see his donation down there. So we are $10. We are 10% of the way there. Once we hit 100, we will take that drink, not shot. So that is what is on play until we hit that. Let me get out of there.
So we're doing a painkiller.
Painkiller. Yep.
But instead of rum, replace with Malort.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that was the nicest one of the four that were there because it's like good tasting stuff in there. I'm like, okay.
Well,
but
I mean, all of it was good. But then Malort just is going to make it really bad.
I don't eat chicken. You are a bastard.
Don't you like make a chicken tendies thing with coconut milk and then you can make a dip with it, like a curry dip? Do you not
No.
have any curry? You don't
No.
do curry.
No.
Do you not go out to eat like at good restaurants?
Yes, I go.
Or is it just McDonald's?
Oh God, you're an asshole.
Culver's sometimes, maybe.
Oh, I'm gonna kill it. Can you go back on vacation? Can you go?
A lot of good Mexican food down there. It was wonderful.
Oh yeah, I bet that bathroom was pretty nice.
It was every meal. After every meal, I was just pooping. It was like 4 times a day. It was
welcome to my world.
aggressive.
That's my everyday. Poop stories already. Okay, so we are almost 10 minutes into this and no one knows what we're doing for this unless you saw the thumbnail. What is the episode? What are we doing on episode 316 today?
So a couple days ago, the Fallout Precons were officially released. You can go and get singles or collector's packs, and we got Precons.
I just got mine today.
Yeah, I got mine today too, shipped in, and we're gonna go over them. We're gonna do our cuts and ads, the budget upgrades, and a Mr. Unlimited.
Oh yeah,
button.
let me get it, Mr. Unlimited.
All right, Mr. Unlimited.
It's
Adam's
somewhere.
favorite quarterback, Russell Wilson.
Oh God,
says
don't
that.
even get started on that shit. You held me up for like an hour and a half today arguing about Russell Wilson,
Mr. Unlimited.
this D-bag, and how great he is, and I'm like, no. It was like.
We
At
just
one point,
I think
went,
you were misconstruing what I was trying to get across via text over an hour and a half.
yeah, and then I was like, at one point, I was like, I'm sorry, Larry, but I have to cut this off because I have to get ready for a podcast. And you're like, fine. Or no, you did the. Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is. Yeah.
Right.
Stupid.
That's okay.
We lost Kirk Cousins. That's what started the whole thing today. So wah wah wah.
Oh, we're the only team without a quarterback in the league.
Right.
Like
That's pretty much it.
Brissett and Minshew didn't even come to us. Like we're just done. Next year, I'm not gonna say the worst team in the league, but
oh, RoboCop, you have a good point. Urza Saga should be the upgrades in all of these decks. Every single one.
nah. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's right one bit.
You know, I want to get to that button. And I'm just struggling to get back there.
What button?
What do you mean? You don't, yeah,
fuck?
thank you.
Ow, the fuck? Ow.
That was a pretty
I
good.
did it right there.
You
That
did
was
it
good.
really good. I'm impressed, actually.
I
It's
just
really good.
rewind it.
How was your
when I'm on
vacation?
my
Really
own.
quick. Let's go quick with that because
Yeah.
we got a bit to get to on this one. So we're doing the upgrades.
Went
and
to
all that.
Phoenix with the family, visited my dad, and yeah.
You got away
I-
from here, from the cold winter of Minnesota that is 70 degrees today, and
Yeah, it was hot today. But yeah, got out and saw some cactus. We went to old Tucson, like old timey
people.
cowboy stuff.
Oh,
What else we do? Went to a bunch of playgrounds
Ate
with
a
the
lot of
kids and
Mexican
just
food.
let my dad hang out with, his grandkids and
Yeah.
get to know them. And so he gets wore out after like kind of just doing a thing.
yeah.
And then
So it's pretty chill.
yeah, it was nice and chill, and everybody got plenty of sleep. Kids got to stay up late and then wake up early because the time changes and stuff like that. And then we come back, it's an hour, and then daylight savings time is another. So we're 2 hours off instead of one, when it shouldn't really be that bad, but it's good. It's been good. Phoenix is sweet in the winter,
But
I
isn't
think as I'm getting
Arizona-
older.
One of the places that doesn't do daylight savings, isn't that?
Right, they don't
Yeah.
do it. Yeah, so now they are on California time, I believe.
Okay.
So West Coast instead of
Yeah.
Mountain West. So everybody else moves around them, and they don't. So
Fucking weird.
that's
No,
all
I
know.
mean daylight
Oh,
savings
no.
is weird. Daylight
Yeah,
savings.
daylight
weird.
savings is weird.
But it's weird to
It's-
just have one state that's like, nope, not gonna do it, and everybody else is doing it around. It's like, all right, just do your own
Right.
thing. That's fine. What was I gonna say? Oh, the other thing I did was I got a puppy. I'm gonna overshadow you.
you
by
did get that is a little cute chocolate lab, isn't
yeah.
it?
So it's back to
What's his name?
It is so Zeke's name, if we were gonna be a girl, or if he was gonna be a girl, was gonna be Maisie, which is Actually, if you know Arya Stark, her actual name, the actress.
Maisie Williams, is that her?
Maisie something. Yeah, you might be right.
Right.
I don't remember
Yeah,
her
I
last
don't
name. But we love that name. We were either going to name, if we had a girl, it was going to be Maisie or Murray, like Graham Murray. You know, where
Oh,
our
okay.
cabin is. But we went with Maisie, and then Zeke was a boy, so it was Zeke. So, yeah, it was a spur of the moment, not really planned. As you know, Isla died this last year, and we knew we wanted to get a new dog. Didn't want to do it in the winter. There really wasn't a winter. We probably could have done it any point. And these just popped up on Cindy's Facebook feed, and she contacted him. And on Friday, Cindy had off, and the boys had off. So we went and met them and knew that we were going to buy them buy her immediately. So, it's been, let's see, we've been married for 14 years, coming up on 14 years, 15 years. And we got Dory right when we got married, right after we got married. You forget it is like having a kid. Like, it's just like,
because you didn't have to do that with Isla or
Nugget. Yeah, Nugget was already
Nugget,
trained. We got her when she was already 3. So yeah, and then we got Isla it was my brother's dog and everything. So yeah, it's just constant. The first 2 nights, 4 hours of sleep, and then 4.5 hours of sleep. Like, yesterday, I was so tired because she's just constantly, you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. Yeah. So last night was the first night we did put her in a kennel, because the first 2 nights Cindy's like, oh, just let her sleep with us. I'm like, fine. So last night was the let her cry it out thing. We had to put her all the way across the house because she's so loud, yelping and yipping.
The kids and
so
I mean just everybody in general. Yeah.
So yeah.
Ugh.
This is a you problem. All right, we're back. If you guys are jumping in on the stream, sorry about that. I think it's my computer, but most likely because mine's normally the freezing one anyways. Yeah, send out that we'll give everybody a little chance to jump back in here, and we'll just get right to things. Actually, I could probably just get to tags right now, since we're to it. We can just start doing the whole kit and caboodle. I think that's the first time I've ever used that. All right. Kit and caboodle. I don't think I've ever said that before. You can become, or you can support the Commander Smiths in 4 different ways. The first way is to become a patron. $1 or more gets you into the Discord that financially supports us. And also, we give a little bonus. If you want, you can get some proxies each month if you so choose. You can get foil proxies if you upgrade your levels. I do have a foil proxy right here. Just a little heads up, the Surveil lands are going to be coming here very shortly. So I think this month I'll be getting those out. So if you want those Surveil lands as proxies, now's the time to become a patron. Another way you can support the podcast is to donate live on the podcast. As you can see right there, we got the Malorto meter. Once we hit that $100, you're donating. It's helping us out. But then also, once we hit that, we take the drink of choice, which again is the painkiller. Once we hit $100. And then every $25, we do take a jelly bean, the Bean Boozled jelly bean. So there's a little bit there. You can... some added stuff that we do there. And then another way you can support the show is by checking out let me jump to that actually, our store at commandersmiths.com. So let's see here, store, show you that really quick. Just an FYI, we do have some playmats that will be coming out pretty quick here. We are in the process of getting those ordered, but right now you could order, we have a bunch of different t-shirts. Larry and I are both wearing one of the t-shirts that you can order. Actually, mine is not. They do have an Urza's for Life, but it's in a brown. You have Welcome to the Meat Forest, Team Forest Walk, Team, Urza's for Life, all that stuff. Then we got metal tokens, and then like these mugs that we are drinking out of. You can get those on that store. So that helps us out. You get Smith swag, but it also is supporting the show and also showing off the show a little bit there too. And the last way to support the show is to watch us live on these streams. If you have a chance, or not watch, you don't have to watch live, but just watch us on YouTube. If you can listen to the podcast, if you can watch us instead, that helps us out. It gives us, fractions of pennies, and that helps eventually turn into pennies. So, all right. So that is the ways you can support us. You can also contact us, or you can check us out now we're on TikTok. Well, we've always been on TikTok, but well, yeah. TikTok over the last, what, 2 years?
It doesn't matter if they ban it in like 3 days. So
Is that what the rumor is now?
no, I mean, I think it's happening.
Is it really?
Potentially on Thursday.
Oh, shit. I didn't even know.
Right.
I wasn't even paying attention to that.
You
Well,
plugged in.
you might be able to find us on TikTok if it's still
Maybe.
there. Otherwise, we're on Insta, which is a brand new Instagram. Not Instagram isn't brand new, but it's brand new for us. We're on there. We're still on X. We don't really post a lot there. It's just that. But you can also direct message us by checking us out at commandersmiths@gmail.com. Okay, we got people back in over here, so that's good. All right, so let's just get right to the episode since we kind of lost the feed there for a bit. All right, so we are doing we're back. All right, so how do we want to do this? Actually, this is one thing I did not discuss with you ahead of time is how we want to formulate all this. I don't think we need to pull up the decks. I think we just pull up what we have. So this is on-air production meeting because we don't need to show the whole decks again. We can just talk about the cuts and all that stuff. So, all right, so let's jump over there. So we're going to go through all of the... Well, actually, why don't you explain? Because I just spent like the last 5 minutes doing the tag. So what are we doing here with this?
All right, so we're taking the precons and we are going with probably... I chose the 2 face commanders of what they're kind of giving you. And then building a deck. We're cutting X amount of cards out of the decks that I did, which this is not. I cut 10 and 7, and we'll get to those. But basically, and then you're adding in at least $20 budget. You try and come in under that. Oftentimes, Adam cheats and adds it. It's like 20 and change.
Whoa. That was you
then,
2 times
look,
ago.
hey,
Mine was the first
You wanted
time.
me to do this. Why are you interrupting me? Let
sorry.
me just roll here. This is and then so that's something to give hints, tricks, tips on what
You're giving
this could be just like a...
You're giving alternative facts is what you're doing right now.
You seem to be upset and need to calm down a little bit. And so we do a $20 budget. After that whole discussion, we'll also tell you what cards we would cut personally, because sometimes cuts are probably the hardest, but we're gonna fly through that like a hot knife through butter. That's what we're gonna do, right?
Yep, we're cutting that down.
Yeah,
we're cutting
down.
the cuts down. So yeah,
we're cutting the fat off,
Cutting
that's the butter. Get it? We're just adding time.
I wish I had
sorry.
the wants right there. I don't want to move the buttons anywhere. I have the buttons that were for this section.
I would just say build a better deck.
And that's kind of what this section could be called. Is just build a better deck.
Yeah,
but
it should be
actually.
It should be just build a better deck. Wizards, just build a better deck.
I would just say
so
build a better
we're gonna
deck.
make cuts, $20 budget ads, and then unlimited ads.
Mr.
And that's the
Unlimited.
bit. It should be 15 to 20 minutes per deck. I think that's generally where it lands. It might be around the 15. That's what we're aiming for. And it's not going to be a 2-hour podcast.
There we go. Yeah, especially since
Because I said it this time, not you.
No, because we lost the first 20 minutes because the feed job dropped
That's
out.
also true. That's also true.
Hey, thanks,
This
Scott,
is
for
right
doing
into it now.
Scott did my mouth button for me. Wah, 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 wah. All right, so, okay, let's get right to this. We'll start with mine since I have it up there, or the first one.
Yeah.
Dr. Madison Lee. So this deck was interesting because how the Precon is built, it's like, I don't know how this deck wins. Like, really, it doesn't. You would think this would have an overabundance of artifacts, because what it is for people that aren't watching, that are listening, it is 1 blue, 1 red, 1 white, human scientist 2/3. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get an energy counter. You can tap it, pay 1 energy, target creature gets 1/0, trample and haste until end of turn. Or you can tap it and pay 3 energy, draw a card. Or you can tap it and pay 5 energy, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So, like,
Yeah. Seems like an energy artifact, red, white, blue.
Right,
That all kind of makes a bunch of sense. And you're saying there's not a lot of artifacts there.
I shouldn't
So
say
you're
there's not
telling
a
me
lot.
when you make cuts, it's not going to be any artifacts?
No. What did I cut? I gotta get to that here in a second.
Like
Is
bad
there?
energy cards? I can see that.
Well, there's the bobbleheads I always cut out of these stupid decks. The bobbleheads are bad, most of them. There's like one good
They're
one.
fine.
But okay, so I guess when I would first see this card, I'd be like, okay, you're playing a lot of artifacts, maybe free artifacts, getting the energies built up, maybe even doing some, what is it called? It's not trashing. It's where you draw cards and you're discarding stuff and you're rummaging or looting.
Rummage is discard and draw.
Yeah. So what you could do, because it's blue, you could have discard draw, you could have whatever, you know what I'm saying. But throwing big artifacts into your graveyard and then bringing it back with the pay 5 ability. But the thing is even doing that, you can't really abuse it because they come back tapped. So it's not like you can take advantage of Blightsteel Colossus coming in and killing somebody, you know, out of nowhere, because it wouldn't work anyways because of your graveyard, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you can't surprise kill somebody. So what I did with this deck is I kind of went more with the surround damage with the artifacts and everything. So well, let me just say the cards that I did cut. I did cut a total of 10, I believe. Hang on.
10 generally.
Yeah, 10. Yep.
Plus or minus a couple. It's generally 10.
Yeah, so I got rid of like a Loyal Apprentice, Dispatch, Thirst for Knowledge, Crush Contraband, both the bobbleheads, T45, Power Armor, did not like that one. Brotherhood, what is that one called? I wrote it in my notebook for later, and I should have Brotherhood Vertibird? I don't know. Vertibird? I guess
that's a cool word. It should be a word.
Vertibird. Vertibird?
Birds that are vertebrae.
Yeah. Vertibird? It's a vehicle, so you'd love that one. And then Vault 13, and then I cut 1 land from this one. So, okay, so those are the ones that I cut. I got 10 cuts out of there. Here is the budget stuff that I added here. So,
can I ask how many lands are actually in it now after you've cut the one?
36.
Is it like 38?
36 lands. Oh. Yeah, so they had 37 before. Okay, so Aetherworks Marvel, obviously that's one of the easiest ones to put in here. And this is my most expensive one at like about $9.36 or something like that.
Okay.
It fluctuates. Yeah, because I did see when I started making this deck last week or doing the budget stuff, this was only like $4 at that point. You know, the foil one was really expensive, but this was only $4. It has since gone up since then. So this is my most expensive card, but I think you need it in here. If you're working with all this energy, why not get some really good card advantage by the looking at the top 6? That's whenever a permanent you control is put in the graveyard, you get an energy. That part doesn't matter as much. It does help with this, but you're getting energy from other things in the deck.
Right.
So that I also went with more artifact stuff since you're playing a lot of artifacts. I went with Alibu Ancient's Witness. Is also one of the more expensive cards. It's over $5 at this point, about $5.50 or something. 3, 1 red and 1 white. Other artifacts you control have haste. That's not too big, but it's whenever 1 or more artifact creatures you control attack. This deals damage to any target, and you scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control. So if you're able to tap them, which there's some other stuff I have in here for tapping down your artifacts, you can do a lot of damage. This is kind of a little bit of spot removal, and that kind of takes out some of that spot removal that I did take out from the deck with what did I do? Crush Contraband, which was one of your Stump the Smith Savants a while back. Remember that one? I don't think you got it, though.
Yeah, no, I might have. I don't know.
Okay, and then next we got, oh, shit. Me and reading cards. Gurupper? What is it? Thank you.
I'm not going to help you.
She can't even read.
It's fine.
It's the Aether Grid. So this is
Aether Grid.
Yeah, it is 2 and 1 red enchantment. Tap 2 untap artifacts you control. It deals 1 damage to any target. So there you go. You're tapping your stuff down. There's a couple of them I have in here where you can tap your artifacts for benefit, and then that even takes more advantage of Alibu that I just talked about. Golan, Dwarf, Emissary.
I shouldn't Dwarf Emissary, but
there we go. Thank
it's
you.
glowing,
I can't even
right?
Oh, it is glowing. What did I say?
Glowing? Well, like you should know this one. I know glowing is that's a word they said.
I can't even say emissary, right? Is that
emissary?
Right? Okay. So it's whenever you cast a
G-Ripper? Okay. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it. So G-Ripper.
That's how that Aether Grid is. Okay. Whenever you cast a historic spell, create a treasure. You can only do it once each turn, but then you can sacrifice a treasure and go target creature. You're going to be the deck itself has a lot of legendaries. You have a lot of artifacts, which are historic spells. So you're getting treasure every time, once per turn, but you're getting a treasure, and you can use your treasure if you want to goad stuff, but more so you're going to use it to cast more spells. Ingenious artillerist. God, I don't want to read right now. Today is not working. But this is going to take advantage of getting your artifacts in play and doing damage across the board. So 2 colors and a red. Whenever one or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, this deals that much damage to each opponent. So
I should still hit this. Just
Can't even read.
Just saying.
Then we got Joria, Weatherlight Captain. You should have this if you're playing artifact decks or if you're playing legendary or sagas or any of that, anything with historic stuff. But whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. Ton of that in this deck, so you're just gonna get tons of value off of Joria. Kappa Cannoneer. So this one, I'm so glad they kept reprinting this one because it was so expensive, and now this is only like it's under $1 at this point. But it
definitely go get a couple of those.
Yeah, so it has improvise, so you can use your artifacts to bring this out. It has ward 4, but whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it on this, and it can't be blocked this turn. The nice thing is it's not just cast, it's when it enters. So your tokens that you're bringing in that are artifacts and all that, this just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So this is kind of, in a way, one of your game winners because it does have ward 4 on it, which is pretty tough to deal with in itself, but this just continuously
unblockable can be just really cheap to come out.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a great card in blue artifact decks for sure.
Yep. And then Reckless Fireweaver, we're doing a similar thing to the Ingenuous dude.
I just sent a foil one of those over to Hockey.
Nice. Oh, good for you.
You should be happy with that.
So basically, any artifact that enters the battlefield under your control deals 1 damage to each opponent, so you're hitting that surround damage. Psy Master Thopterus, whenever you cast an artifact, get more artifacts, or an artifact Thopter, and it has a little bit of draw. You can sacrifice some of those artifacts for draw. And then Shimmer Dragon. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control to draw a card. As long as you have 4 or more artifacts, it has hexproof. It's just fantastic. It's better. I like it better than Psy Master Thopterus because you're tapping them down, but Psy is going to refill your board. All these are working together with artifacts. So I kind of went a little more deep on the artifact theme of what I felt like the deck should be. So
okay. Yeah, I mean a lot of that makes sense. A couple I don't know what you did in the Mr. Unlimited section, but like I think if you add some untappers, something like Unwinding Clock really helps out Aether Grid and Shimmer Dragon. Did you end up having that one in there?
I do have some untappers, but I didn't put that one in.
Okay. And then the other one that I think would really like with Gloin or anything that's 1 per turn always makes me want to play things on other people's turns. And so something that gives like artifacts flash and stuff like that. Yeah, that tends to be what I end up wanting to do. And so like Urza's Battle Cruiser or something from Dominaria United has been really, really good. I don't know if you saw that one when you're digging around either.
No, not that one. I didn't put.
But I like all of these. They're all great ads.
Yeah. So the total is just under the $20 at $19.38. So see, I didn't break the 20. I'm good. I got to get to this. The Mr. Unlimited section now. Now, no budget whatsoever.
Mr. Unlimited.
This is the other cards I think you could add. So I'm obviously gonna. These aren't. Some of this is not expensive. I just wanted to point them out. I have the energy cards that aren't in the deck, so that's going to be in this section as well. I know it says 19, but it's just I just wanted to point out some of these energy ones. Aether Flux Reservoir. If you're casting a lot of stuff, it's also an artifact. You're gaining life, all that stuff. You can deal damage and stuff. Cityscape Leveler. It's an artifact removal. Has the Unearth. You're destroying non-land permanents. I just got this into my the Mole God deck. and I thought that one was a pretty nice add in here. The other thing too is your commander's bringing stuff back from your graveyard with the energy. So if this goes to your graveyard, you're bringing it back, destroying permanents, non-land permanents. When it attacks, it does the same thing. It's just a great card. Cyberdrive Awakener. So there's a lot of artifacts in this deck that aren't necessarily creatures. This is going to turn all those into 4/4s. Could be a game winner. Again, these are a little bit more expensive. Here's one of our energy, the module
Creators.
Yeah, energy creator. So it's not expensive. Dockside, obviously. Esper Sentinel. Gonti's Aether Heart. So I had to choose one of the more expensive energy cards, and this one was the most expensive. This is the extra turn one.
What is that up to now?
It was like 13 or 14 bucks for the regular one. So yeah, it's
we are kind of going off a TCG player. I don't think we mentioned that at the beginning.
Oh,
so
that's a good point.
And it should be off to the side in the Moxfield deck list that we have of the ads and everything there. So if you want to go check everything out on Moxfield as well, you should be able to see that there in our budget deck list.
Yep. So make sure to follow us on Moxfield. Also, Helm of the Host. I'm trying to add more artifact stuff in here. So Helm of the Host seemed pretty good. Getting multiple triggers off your commander. And this is just an artifact as well. I don't have the Wander Glyph. Do you have this? I don't think I got this card, but it seems pretty sweet.
It's very pretty.
Yeah. It's like a $7-8 card or something at this point.
No, did it go back up? I thought it dropped again. Is that what?
Maybe
you might want to.
I don't
switch the non.
I don't want to zoom in, but no. Maybe that's what it did. Maybe that's what some of these versions that it just picked up.
They got too expensive. Yeah, so you just have a more expensive version on it.
Yep. So this is just creating more artifacts, and then if you have the City's Blessing, your artifact creatures get 2/2. Another energy guy, Lightning Runner, not expensive, so you can go pick that up.
I was gonna say, did that jump up with this? But I got a couple laying around.
Yeah,
I was hoping it went up.
It's cheap, but I just wanted to show that one.
All right.
Mithril Coat to protect your commander a bit there. I'd love to have that in here, but it's now like 13, 14 bucks at this point. Well, that might be just because of that full art thing. You're getting me but still, no.
No, it's a $10 card at least.
Yeah.
8 to 10, whatever.
So some of that, when I was thinking about the rummaging, or not rummaging, whatever, putting stuff into your graveyard, having Platinum Angel and Platinum Empyrean would be nice, and being able to bring that back, because you can bring it back at instant speed. It comes into play tapped. You don't care that you're not blocking with them. They don't need to do anything. Your life doesn't change, or they can't win the game. So I thought these would be kind of nice little adds as artifact creatures. Then we get Sensei's Top, Smothering Tide, the One Ring, 1,000-year elixir, so we're getting some untapped stuff there, and then Urza, Lord High Artificer. So you're using your artifacts to give yourself some mana, and it generates.
This is the best ramp card in the blue artifacts deck.
Yep. So, all right, so that is the science deck in a nutshell.
Kind of turn it a little bit more artifacty.
Yeah,
you probably. I mean, energy needs more.
Yeah,
that I think that makes a ton of sense to move it a bit more in the artifact direction.
Yep. So I think I didn't like this when we first previewed it. I think if I did all these changes, I think I'd like this deck a lot more. Like once I started messing with this and picking out the cards I'd want in this, I was like, I actually could see playing this deck. It wouldn't be one I'd go and build myself, because it feels very like energy heavy, but it doesn't at the same point, because all you're doing is casting artifacts. You don't have to play any energy stuff. You can just cast your stuff and your energy's building up. It can be strictly just artifacts.
And the commander uses the energy as whatever it needs to be, reanimation or...
And if your commander dies, your energy is still there. The energy's on you. It's not on your commander. So that's kind of the cool thing here. So you could really just change this into a complete artifact deck and utilize that. Like, that's what I would want to do, but with a $20 budget, I was like,
it's a lot more work.
I can't replace 50 cards and then throw in 50 cards for 10 cents. So it doesn't work out that way. So, all right, let's move on to which deck do you want to start with, Flowery, first?
Let's go with Scrappy Survivors.
All right.
I think that one is probably
when it's all
would be well done.
This.
It's red, green and white. It's really aura and equipment like focused.
Scrappy
Along with like they have junk that is involved, and we'll once we get to this. All right. So the commander is going to be dog meat, ever loyal, red, white, green, 3/3 doggo, and dog meat ETBs mill 5 cards and return an aura equipment card from the graveyard to your hand. And then whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. Now that isn't just once per turn or a player. It's anything that attacks that has an aura equipment on it. We'll create a junk token for you, and that junk token sacrifices it. You get to exile the top card, and you can cast it. Is that this turn?
Yeah, this turn, and then only activate as a sorcery.
And only as a sorcery. So, so as you look at the card, it's aura, it's equipment. It's kind of a little bit of mill, but I would not, in those colors, you're not going to be really able to mill yourself very well. So I wouldn't count on that. And then the junk tokens playing from exile could be something there. But I think the deck is really geared in towards aura and equipment. And I would say don't split the difference. And this deck does. Choose heavy into one or the other, because there's just better cards that you can be putting in. I went with cards that split the difference as well, just because there's only so many cards you can add in for $20 and stuff like that. This one I cut 7 cards from the deck.
Okay.
It's going to be Bighorn Rancher, which is just too expensive for the mana production. Brotherhood Outcast, Super Mutant Scavenger, Commander Sophia Dagur, Blasphemous Act. I always cut that card from these things. It's just a boring card.
Right.
You keep it in if you like it, but it's just boring. Abundant Growth and Buried Ruin. Never play Buried Ruin. It ramps everybody. Stop it. Stop putting in decks. So those are 7 cards that I would cut. My budget, I came in at $10.51. So
oh shit.
Yeah, real cheap. So some of the cards that I went, like I said, I did cards that split the difference, and we can go down to the ads now. And this is Miss Worldwide. I don't know why mine's on top. We can go down if we.
You changed it to Mr. Worldwide.
I don't know, what was it called?
Mr. Unlimited.
Oh, that's right. Pitbull.
I didn't even catch that when I looked at your deck. Mr. Worldwide.
In my head, I'm going Mr. Worldwide instead of Mr. Worldwide. So,
oh, that's fantastic.
I'll have to change that around, I guess.
Mr. Worldwide.
All right. Budget upgrades. We have Armored Sky Hunter, which is a creature, has flying. Whenever it attacks, you get to look at the top 6 cards, and you can put an aura or equipment into play from those 6 and equip it or attach it to any creature on the battlefield
nice
that you control. So it does have to be something that you control, and then you just put the rest on the bottom. It's great card advantage. You're digging really deep. It has flying, so that evasion, you don't have to worry about it. 4 mana come out. It just seems like a no-brainer to me.
I like it.
Next one is Danitha Caption. It's from Dominaria, but a 2/2 first strike, vigilance, lifelink, and then auras and equipment spells cost 1 less to cast. You got over 20 of each of those types, so you will be reducing plenty of spells. It's going to hit a lot of turns. And I do think cost reduction is highly underplayed. So go check out like familiars in general. They will reduce the cost from like, what was it? I don't remember at this point, but go check out cost reductors in your colors and you will be very happy. It's like the medallions. Yeah. Everybody plays those, but like I think you underappreciate how good they are.
Right. Yeah, I'll admit, like, I don't use them as much as I probably should. Especially medallions. I'll put medallions in if I'm in a one color. Yeah. So, all right.
Next one is Silhana Ledgewalker, and this is just it's only like 5 cents or whatever, just reprinted, but it's a 1/1 hexproof and can't be blocked except by creatures with flying. basically when you have some type of Voltron-y deck, and that's kind of what auras and equipment are. If you're heavy into that, you want to be able to protect your creatures or have the creatures protect themselves. And so this is more of just like an idea of adding more cards in that aren't just going to straight up die when you put your aura on it and it does nothing. It's a 2-for-1. You're going to lose really quick if your creature does not have indestructible or hexproof. Like, you kind of need those things going on. Next one is Silk Guard. This is a great card. It's $3-ish. 1 green X, but put 1/1 counters on each of up to X target creatures you control. Auras, equipments, and modified creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Basically, in an aura and equipment deck, it's 1 green. Those creatures gain hexproof. Again, this is something that's really great if you go the route of having cards that protect your creatures versus creatures that protect themselves. And so that's something that you're just going to want to check out whatever you do. But Silk Guard fits in a ton of counters, equipment, like anything modified.
So
this
much.
helps.
Yep. And even if you don't have a lot of modified stuff in it, but it adds the token, the counter, which makes them modified. So it ends up helping you out that way.
So it's fantastic at green, but if you need to pay more and protect what you want, also great. Songbird's Blessing just came out in Eldraine in the fall, but 4 mana aura. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an aura card. You may put that card onto the battlefield. If you do put it in, if you don't put it in your hand, put the rest on the bottom.
That's pretty good. I actually didn't even know about that card. I like that card.
This is in between $4 and $5. This is the most expensive. This is half of the $10 budget that I have in here. And this, it's with the difference is like, I don't worry about needing to have that balance because you're not, you're just going to go get an aura. You don't have to like look at the top 4 or top 6 or whatever, like the cat at the top, but it's going to get an aura and you're going to be able to use it. And so it's card advantage and aura. It's going to be pretty solid. SRAM is the next one, Senior Artificer, and it's just going to draw you more cards. Auras, equipment. There is a couple of vehicles in here as well, maybe 1 or 2. You'll be able to draw off of those. Just more draw opportunities is really important. SRAM even though really the junk ones are really nice that Dogmeat is creating. I would have to play with that more to see how effective that is. And really what we might need is more like top deck manipulation, like
being able
top
to,
or scroll rack. Like in these colors, you basically got to have that.
And then
the last one is Wylith, Soul of Steel. 1 red, white, 2/2 trample. Whenever it attacks, draw a card for each aura and equipment attached to it. So it's just one of those cards that you can slap an aura or equipment on. It has trample, and you're going to be able to draw a card or 2 off of it as well.
Dig it. So
75 cents.
What was your total again? 10 something?
$10.51 for 7 cards swapped in.
Holy crap. All right. Well, now if you didn't have a budget,
Mr. Unlimited,
what would you be adding here? Oh, we got to go up. That's right. To Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah. So these ones end up being a little bit more specific for one or the other. Astor allows you to look at the top X amount of cards and put an equipment into your hand, and then your equip cost costs 1.
Huh. Yeah.
And vehicles you control have crew 1. So it really reduces the equip cost of a lot of cards. So pretty easy. Heavenly Blade Master is really cool. 6 mana. You have a higher curve in this too, so I wouldn't put like a bunch of really expensive like CMC into there. But Heavenly Blade Master comes down. You can put everything, all the auras and equipment on it, and then it gives you an army because it boosts all your creatures for each 1/1 counter on it, or whatever equipment aura on it.
Aura. Yeah, I like that.
And it's a beater, flying double strike.
Yeah,
attaches all that stuff.
If you have all that equipment on and then you're pumping your other stuff too, that's crazy. Yep.
Yeah. So Retether is a sorcery, 4 mana. Return each aura card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Only creatures can be enchanted this way. And so this is something that cheaply allows your auras to come back if somebody board wipes you or they're picking on you or there's a mill player like the Mutant Mayhem thing that I'll talk about whenever. But that some type of recursion to bring back your artifacts and equipment in one of those styles of deck generally are pretty important. There's one for like 7 mana that I just didn't go and look it up, but it brings back your artifacts and enchantments. It's like 3 white, 4 colorless. I think it came out in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty.
Oh, is it
So it's
one
a
of
good one.
Is it one of the cycle that they each one had, or no? I know the picture that you're talking about, but yeah.
So that could go in here too, but there's only so many cards I was willing to cut, and these are just extra ones that you could put in. Sage's Reverie. Aura, whenever it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. Doesn't have to be that one, anyone. And then enchanted creature gets 1/1 for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. Anyone, not just that one.
And that's
so it's a nice draw card.
Oh no, it's you creature you control that's attached to a creature. Okay, cool. 1+1 for each aura you control that's attached. Okay, yep. That's pretty sweet. Oh, and then
So if you're heavy into the auras and you go that route, same thing with Ural the Miststalker. Again, I was thinking like
this reminds me of your old school deck, buddy.
Yeah, that was one of my first commander decks, and I love it. Just want to say, hey, how's it going? It's been a while.
How you doing there, buddy?
And so just having creatures that can protect themselves is important in these kind of decks. And then Sigarda's Aid. This is auras and equipment spells you cast as though they had flash, and whenever an equipment ETBs, you get to free equip it. That one's probably the only real like non-budget one. I could have maybe added that in. I had room. How much is it? 6? 7?
I don't know. It doesn't have. I have to zoom out to do it.
All right, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but Sigarda's is really good. That's it.
Look into your aura. Scryfall equipment or auras and come up with ideas that you really like. And then there's going to be plenty of room in there. Yeah. Because the other thing that I do when I'm doing precons and doing this is I'm trying not to take out the new cards because they're on theme. People are buying Fallout just because it's Fallout. So I'm not going to say take out all the Fallout cards and make a better deck.
What?
I'm just
is that like a shot at me because I took out all the cards that are
no
the bobbleheads?
That's just my fault. I don't care what you do. You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying.
I just take bad cards out. I'm like, this is not a good card, even if it is in the Fallout. But I get what you're saying. You're buying the deck. It's a themed, especially the ones that are Fallout. A lot of people are playing the Fallout stuff, and they want all the Fallout stuff in it. So I get that.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to upgrade the deck, get rid of the bad ones. They're putting it in there for theme-wise, but still.
Right. Yeah. And some of the creatures that I mentioned were just overcosted or didn't do enough. So I did take them out. But.
All right. So there you go. All right. So that is that was it. Yep. That was Mr. Worldwide.
Whoops.
All right. Next on the list, I'll do the Hail Caesar one. This one actually, I was texting with you about this deck and the upgrades and all that. And I might do the similar thing that I did to the Morph deck from the last Precon, where I might do my upgrades and the unlimited upgrades and make this deck. So Caesar Legion's Emperor, 1 colorless, red, white, and black for a 4/4 human soldier. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, choose 2. Create 2 1/1 red and white soldier creature tokens with haste that are tapped and attacking. You draw a card and lose a life, or this deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to target opponent. So the cool thing is you could just attack with 1 creature, and then you can sacrifice not even the creature that's attacking. It just you have to sacrifice another creature. That's not this, because it's saying sacrifice another creature. And then you create 2 more.
And this doesn't have to be attacking.
Right.
It's just whenever you
whenever you attack, you get to do this. So I kind of wanted to go the route of, again, this is aristocrat kind of thing where you're sacrificing creatures coming into play, doing damage around the board, and at the same point getting your tokens bigger and bigger and bigger. I'll get to that in a second. So in this, I did cut a lot more. I cut 12? Yes, 12 cards. So in
Okay.
this, all right, both bobbleheads, got rid of those. Survivor's Med Kit, I don't like that card either. Wild Wasteland, Fervent Charge, Marshal's Anthem, Vault 11, Stolen Strategy, Anguished Unmaking. I always end up doing that with spot removal stuff. Wear and Tear, Heroic Reinforcements, and the Nipton Lottery. So that is one of the newer cards and stuff there.
Okay.
So I got rid of 12 cards. I added in 12 cards well, I'll get to the total here in a second. So again, like I said, we're going to have the budget part, which is going to really help this deck out a lot by your creature tokens dying, your creatures coming into play, doing a lot of damage. I would really say with this one, the Mr. Unlimited part is Mr. Unlimited Worldwide is really where things can get kind of crazy with this deck. So if you have the cards or you have the budget to do it and you want to build this deck, look into some of those cards here. But for $20 or less, here's some of the stuff that you can put in the deck.
Was it $20? What was?
It's less than $20. Don't worry about
Is
it.
it?
Yeah. The Cathara's Crusade right here is the most expensive card on the list. It has to go in here. Like, that was the one I'm like, out of the card. I know you don't like it because that, but look at what your commander's doing. You're creating two creatures with the sacrificing. So
I would choose not to.
You're actually
If
making
you draw a card and the damage every time.
You're popping everything up 2 counters because your 2 tokens are coming into play. This is just a must-have. It's an $11 card. So this is by far your most expensive card in here. Everything else kind of stays lower in this, but
Okay.
this is just a fantastic one in this deck. Anim Packle Thousandth. That's funny.
She can't even read.
Those are names. I can say however I want to say. And then
Thousandth?
thousandth moon. But whenever
sense.
you attack with one or more non-gnome creatures, put a 1/1 counter on this. Then create X 1/1 colors gnome artifact creature tokens that are tapped and attacking, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on this. So all your other stuff are not gnomes. You're attacking. This gets counters on it. You create more gnomes. You can sacrifice one of those gnomes to pump up your command or do the commander's ability, because it is whenever you attack with one or more, whenever you attack. So you can stack it with this is happening first. It creates those gnomes. Then when you're going to resolve the other one, you sacrifice one of those. It creates 2 more.
I'm just going to say that, at least for me personally, I didn't realize that is how thousandth
What
was
pronounced
spelled.
Yeah,
I didn't realize the D stayed. I thought it was like thousandth.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's what I was like.
I think that's what I'm supposed to say, and maybe people pronounce the D more, but I did not.
You learned something.
Just admitting that live.
No, I didn't know it. Obviously,
I had
by
to look
my
it up.
reading.
I was like, those are all words. They're not.
They're not making that one up.
Not making that one up.
So this one is just helping produce more tokens, and that's kind of what I also mixed in here. Is you need to have some tokens to sacrifice. The stuff that's in the deck, they're doing the squad stuff, so you're making multiples of them, and you can sacrifice those. But I wanted to make more tokens that are token fodder, so you can get rid of them. So it's not creatures that you like to have in play. Get rid of those tokens. So this helps rebuild that army. Next is Cruel Celebrant. So this is just whenever another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses life, you gain a life. There's a few of those in this 12 cards here. Dreadhorde Invasion. It's your budget Bitter Blossom, which Bitter Blossom is in the Mr. Unlimited section. But at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life, and then you amass 1, where you're making zombie armies. And then if your zombies have a power of 6 or greater, they gain lifelink, which you're never going to get to that. You're using these to sacrifice and do all their fun stuff. Ellis Ilkor Sadistic Pilgrim. It's 2. It's a white and a black. Death Touch whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control. So you're getting those 2 tokens that are coming in. You're going to gain 1 life for each. And then when another one dies, each opponent loses life. Blood Artist, I like it, but I don't at the same point because it's a target player. I love hitting everybody equally. I love pissing everybody off equally instead of just being like, I'm going to take you down a notch. So Blood Artist, I did not add in this. You can if you want to. I know a lot of people like to. It's kind of that kind of deck. But yeah, so just it's one thing I don't have in this, and I don't even think I put it in Mr. Unlimited section. Lenda, the Dusk Rose, is now like $1 and change card, which this card was like, what, 10, 15 bucks at one point until they reprinted the crap.
One point, yeah.
But you're killing your creatures, and it's whenever another creature dies, not just another one of your creatures, is anybody's creatures. Put a 1/1 counter on this, and then when she dies, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink, where X is the amount of, or what her power is. So you're sacrificing your own stuff. She's just going to get naturally big. At some point, you can use her as your sacrifice fodder there and get more 1/1 creatures out there and start using those. You're going to like this one because it's one of your babies. But Ishin, 2 heavens as 1. So you're just getting a double attack trigger off of your commander. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control the trigger, it triggers an additional time. So you're getting to use your commander's ability twice because it's an attack trigger. And that's just fantastic. And for me, this is kind of funny because I always cut Mentor of the Meek when we're doing these decks. But I've added Mentor of the Meek in the last 2 budget commander decks because it fits perfect in this because you're making 2 1/1 creatures. So it's not casting. It's when they enter the battlefield. You pay 2 mana, you're drawing 2 cards off of that. Plus, if you're using the draw ability off your commander, you're drawing 3 cards off of 1 creature attacking. I think that's pretty good. So Mentor of the Meek makes it in this deck, and it's super cheap because it's printed like crap, or printed in everything and anything. Mirkwood Bats, love this card. You're making tokens, you're sacrificing tokens. Anytime you make tokens, everybody loses, or each opponent loses life. Whenever you sacrifice tokens, each opponent loses life. So this is just working back and forth.
So at least 3 a turn.
Yeah.
Where you're.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because you're sacrificing 1, you get 2 in return.
Likely sacrificing a token.
Right, I was about to say that. It has to be a token, but you're at least getting 2 life loss in there. How would you say this? Nayali? Nayali, Sun's Vanguard? That's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Attacking tokens you have double strike, so you're helping kind of wipe. It's kind of maybe your meat force killing everybody. But whenever 1 or more tokens you control attack a player, exile a top card of your library. During any turn you attacked with a token, you may play that card. So it doesn't leave, if you don't play it that turn, maybe you attack with a token the next turn, you can cast anything that's off of that. So it's a little card advantage. And it's helping your tokens out by giving them double strike there. Sir Conrad and Zulaport Cutthroat, both of them are doing the death trigger kind of thing. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life for Zulaport. Sir Conrad's just fantastic because whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature leaves the graveyard, Sir Conrad deals 1 damage to each opponent. So both these are just, I'm ramping up the killing your creatures and getting a benefit of hitting the board without having to swing through. You could go a route of anthems. There's already anthems in this. And that's kind of what Cathara's Crusade is, in a way, is what I was doing there. Yeah. So I like these cards to hit everybody down at once and then eventually go in for the kill. Now, total $18.12. Now remember, $11 is Cathara's Crusade, so everything else is pretty cheap.
Everything's pretty cheap there,
yeah. So you're under what, $7 for all that. But now we get into Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
There's a lot here. There's a lot here. 19 cards. We're going to go
19
quick with some of these. The ones that are known, I'm just going to read them and not say what they do. But like Adeline, I really wanted to get this one in there. But it's like a $5 to $7 card, I think, at this point. But her power is equal to the number of creatures you control. And then whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 human creature token tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker you control. So with her, you can use that token to sacrifice to get more tokens from your commander's ability, because it's the attack. You just stack it the right way so that you're attacking, you're using her ability first. Use one of those tokens that is attacking a player that it's going to die to anyways. Sacrifice that, get 2 more tokens. fun stuff right there. Chroma's Will, it's a good game winner right there. Anointed Procession, just you're making tokens. Let's make more of them. Bitter Blossom, I mentioned that earlier. Get your tokens generating or getting more tokens to sacrifice. Black Market Connections gives you some. I mean, Black Market Connections. If you're playing black, you should almost have this in that deck. Charismatic Conqueror, this is an all-star in this because if people are playing creatures or artifacts, you're going to get your sack fodders with the 1/1 vampire token lifelink dudes. This is just, it's great in this. And I put this in decks where you're not dealing with tokens and stuff, but in this, it's perfect. So if you don't have it, get this one in this deck if you can. Clever Concealment, so you can tap, Convoke, you can tap your stuff for protection. Flawless Maneuver. Again, Grave Pact, you're sacrificing, make everybody else sacrifice. You could put in Butcher of Malachor in here as well. It's 7, so it's a little bit, and this is 3 black, so it's a little bit harder with that too. But it's a good card.
Dictate of Erebos could be a nice middle ground. And
that's a good point there too. Grim Hireling, if your creatures are dealing damage, you're getting treasure tokens. Mondrak, you're getting more tokens. Again, it's like your Anointed Procession. Moonshaker Cavalry, this could be your game winner because you're making a bunch of little guys. So that'll just help you. It's like your Crater of Behemoth. Myrel, I want to kind of stop and talk about really quick.
Okay.
But Myrel, the bonus part is during your turn, opponents can't cast spells, activate abilities, artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. That's fun. But whenever she attacks, create X11 artifacts, creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control. Your commander is creating soldiers. There's a lot of soldiers in this deck. So Myrel is fantastic, and hindering your opponents during your turn is fantastic. So if you can get this one, but this is a $20 card, so her and herself is already over budget. O'Hare, how do you say these?
I think it's O'Hare.
O'Hare.
Again, but I could be very wrong on that. Let's just give it a good old
button. He can't even read.
There we go. Making more tokens. There's a lot of making lots of token cards at this point. So you got a lot of choices. They're just a little expensive. Ophiomancer, you're making your snakes. Perforos, again, you're playing creatures doing lots of damage. Roaming Throne, Teferi's Protection, and then one new card is, it does a similar things to the ones before, but War Leader's Call. This gives you, it's an anthem, but then whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, deals 1 damage to each opponent. So you're getting your 2 damage spread around, and it's an anthem. Great card.
Did that come back down, or is it still like a $10 card?
$7 to $8 card at this point. Ugh. So
glad I got one, but
good for you. So yeah, okay. That is that deck.
So you're using your tokens and turn it a little bit into aristocrats and making sure everybody gets hit a little bit. And
then eventually,
I'm not going to argue for or against Blood Artist. I will argue against Blood Pact or Grave Pact effects. They suck. they really slow down a deck, even though
I would
you
say
don't have a lot of sack outlets.
I was going to say you're
you're
only sacrificing one thing, so yeah. that's where I would.
And then if other people are blocking and having your stuff die, then they'll feel that kind of pain, and that I find a much more interesting decision tree rather than like tokens,
let the damage go
sack
through,
outlet, sack.
Yeah,
wipe the board.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that at least.
No problem. I was looking out for you there, buddy.
I know you don't care what I feel like.
No. All right. Let's get to our final deck here, and we are going to be doing the Mutant one. I'm hoping that you did. Can I check?
Oh no, I'm very sure I did Mr. Worldwide again.
No, that's the one I saw first. Yeah. I was like, I saw this deck and you had it right. So then you changed it to Mr.
I almost had like Pitbull come on just in the playlist. I don't know. All right. Mutant Mayhem. Budget upgrade. The Wise Mothman is the face one. Pretty cool commander, but 1 and a black and a green and a blue for 3/3 flying insect mutant. And then whenever it ETBs or attacks, each player gets a rad counter, which is during their upkeep, they remove a rad counter and mill as many rads as they have. And
well, no, they mill as many, and then for every non-land, you remove a rad counter and take a damage.
Yeah. But you mill,
You mill that many, but you don't. If you do a land, the rad counter stays. If it's a non-land, it gets removed. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Whenever, I fucked that up. Doesn't matter. You know it. Figure it out, people. Come on. Whenever one or more non-land cards are milled, it doesn't have to be by rads, but put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. And so if you just have like one mill happening and any non-land card is milled, you put a 1/1 counter on a creature, and the more cards that are non-land that are milled, you can spread that around for creatures or not, just build it up too. So this can get real big real quick. So I mean, when you hear this, you hear a little bit of mill.
I was gonna say, are you going complete mill with this one, or what do you?
No. Just give it a little bit of a boost, so you don't have to say rad a bunch of times.
Why? You don't want to go back to the 80s?
No, I don't.
That's rad, dude.
I'm happy where see, that's what I'm worried about. People saying that more often now. We don't need that. We can eat pizza. I'm okay with eating pizza.
Pizza's always good. What did you cut? How many cards did you cut and all that fun stuff?
So I cut about 10 cards. I cut Find Finality, which is that's the only one that could probably stay, but Harmonize, which is something I always cut. Biomass Mutation, which is, I want to say, it gives creatures +X/+X, which is the X part that you pay. That's a really, really good card when it comes to a +1/+1 counter deck, which this is, because the counters stay, and then you're also boosting the base power and toughness. But still going to cut that. Putrefy, Power Fist. They had all 3 of the talismans in here. Cut them. Try and avoid the non-super really good artifact ramp in any green deck. That's what I suggest. And then Fraying Sanity, which is like if a person mills, they got to mill twice as many. That's just one person. And
don't like doing that either.
And then Island. So cutting 10, and then cool cards. We can what's that? Mr. Unlimited. How come mine's on top and yours wasn't?
Because you put the budget ones in first when you first do your tag. Like if you start with Mr. Unlimited when your first tag, it does whatever you do first. And so
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Angel of Suffering. It is a black angel 5/3 flying. If damage would be dealt to you, prevent that damage and mill twice that many cards. So you are milling a ton of cards that way if people are attacking you, and you're gonna basically get revenge with whatever creature you're putting 1/1 counters on as you mill it because of Mothman. Next one is Deranged Assistant. It's mill a card at a colorless, so it's a creature replacing one of those talismans, but it's mana and a little bit of mill for yourself. And then it just is, it's a nice little switch. It's something that you're not going to be playing a whole ton of in other decks. And so that's why I would, I think there's going to be better ramp out there, just like any elf or something that goes and puts a land into play. But this is a nice card that
fits on theme a little bit more.
Yeah, it's on theme.
Yep.
So next one's going to be Dread Summons. X and black sorcery. Each player mills X cards. For each creature card, put into your graveyard this way, into a graveyard this way, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. There is a bit of a zombie sub theme in this deck as well. It's like mutants and zombies and stuff like that. So the zombies are going to be relevant. Milling a bunch of cards on everybody is going to be relevant. And you can put those 1/1 counters across those zombies that you create because the trigger happens after this resolves. And so this, I think, is a really, really nice card.
I like that. Yeah, that's really good in here.
Next one is Emery, Lurker of the Lock. One thing that this deck does not do almost at all is any type of graveyard recursion or playing around. And so just a little bit will go a long way in this.
That's odd for a deck that's milling yourself. You want to do recursion stuff, that.
Right. And so I think they kind of missed that part, and they're probably more it's just rad counters, so everybody's kind of milling themselves, but it's not a mill deck by any means. And it's more like proliferate and really focused in on 1/1 counters. And so I would go with a little bit more like graveyard recursion. Emery's going to get back any artifacts that you mill or want to sacrifice for benefit, yada, yada. So Emery's a great card in that regard. Cheap, also self-mills. So it will trigger your Mothman for that stuff. Next one is Lich Lord of Unks. This, you can create its own zombie, black-blue zombie, and you can pay blue-blue, black-black. Target player loses X life, puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of zombies you control.
There's your
Like I said, there's already a sub-themed zombie, and I'm very certain that what it says puts the top X cards of his or her library into the graveyard. That's milling. I'm very, very certain. I didn't reread any erratas or anything, but I'm very certain that is also milling. So it fits really, really well. This is like a $4 to $5 card. This is one of the more expensive ones here.
What are your favorites?
From the Loam. One of my favorites, but I think it fits perfectly in here in a self-milled deck. It's 1 in a green, sorcery. Return 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. And then it also has Dredge 3. If you would draw a card, you may mill 3 cards instead. If you do, return this card from the graveyard. So you're milling and triggering the Mothman, along with getting a little bit of lands back into your hand, and just keep on moving stuff forward. I think this card would be great in here.
That's perfect there.
Next one's Milliken, very similar to the Deranged Assistant. Mill a card, taps. Mill a card, create a colorless mana. Just a quick creature that does that kind of thing. Mind Crank is an artifact. Whenever an opponent loses life, that player puts that many cards from the top of their library into his or her graveyard. And that's I'm not 100% on this being mill, but it's going to put creatures in, or put cards into the graveyard that you can play around with.
We got
this
Sir
might be the
Conrad
only
in
time we've ever crossed over and both done the same thing. But Sir Conrad the Grim, 5 mana, 5/4. You kind of already said it,
but yours works really well because you're milling to put stuff in there. So that was
right.
Fantastic in this.
And so it has the everybody mill thing. It also combos with the one that I just talked about up there.
This little guy right here?
Yeah, that one. Mind Crank. So whenever they take damage, they mill. And whenever Sir Conrad has a creature go into the graveyard,
it doesn't matter from anywhere. That's
and so it'll just keep on milling.
Each opponent too. It's not just that person that it's brutal. That's good.
So that goes together really well. And again, the nice thing, almost all of these cards do some sort of self-milling, just mill in general, but also just kind of work. So you're moving the game plan along. You're also able to just kind of mill cards and gain advantage with Mothman right there.
Nick is gonna hate this deck.
He might. And then I think this is the last one.
Yeah.
But Vantra's Gargoyle, 1 in a blue. It's a 5/4 flying. It cannot attack unless defending player has 7 or more cards in their graveyard, and it can't block unless you have 4 or more cards in hand. But it taps each player, mills a card. And so it's a 2 mana, 5/4 flyer that mills everybody, and it's cheap. It's like a 25-cent card or whatever. So the total right here is $19.13 for 10 different cards to add in. We got under our budget every time here.
Nice. High five to us. All right. Well, now we move on to Mr. Worldwide or Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
How many cards you got here? Oh, wait. I got to go up the other way.
It's just kind of cards
13.
that didn't fit in. So there's 13. But Altar of the Brood, whenever your permanent come into play, all your opponents mill a card. So that works. Blossoming Tortoise allows you to get, it does a little bit of self-mill, and then also brings lands back. Bruvac is just going to be able to double up on that mill. I'd much rather have that than fraying sanity, but budget stuff. Crucible Worlds, getting your lands back from your graveyard. This one's cheap, but Cruel Somnophage. it's from the new Eldraine, but target player mills 4, and then it's 2 mana, and its power and toughness is equal to the amount of creatures that are in all graveyards.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That can get real big, real fast. It has the mill aspect to it, so I like it a lot. Dreamborn Muse, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player mills the top X cards, where X is the number of cards they have in their hand.
That's always fun to do that one.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Geth is a little bit more graveyard play, where you Lord of the Vault. You can pay X in a black, put target artifact or creature card with mana value X from an opponent's graveyard into the battlefield under your control, and then that player mills X cards.
Oh,
so they're still milling, you get more benefit and still moving forward. Merfolk Wind Robbers, kind of just a cute little card, 1 blue, 1/1. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, they mill a card. Then you can sack it to draw a card if anybody has like 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Yeah. Mesmeric Orb, I think this is going up because of the deck. It's like a $12, $13 card right now. But whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller puts the top card, they mill a card for each thing that untaps, whenever it untaps. So that does a lot of work.
In mill decks, it's fantastic.
Orthanc does a little bit of self.
I'm glad you have this in here. Like, you're doing it for the mill part, but I've been wanting to shove this in decks because of the other stuff it does, but it fits perfect in here because of the mill stuff.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But that's a $12, $13 card right now. Realmbreaker, you can get lands back from your opponent's graveyards. Sword of Body and Mind is just a big mill of 10 if it hits. And then Zelix is another one. Whenever an opponent mills a creature, you get a 1/1 horror. So it's just, you're getting creatures out of that way, and it has a little bit of
self-mill or mill on it. Yep.
So
nice.
And I didn't realize this was up to like $7, $8 as well. So I think this is a really fun one to kind of play around with, because it's not necessarily a mill deck. It's a like mill with benefits type thing.
I like that. Mill with benefits. It was the most popular deck from our polls.
Okay.
Yeah, it got 49% of the votes for that. So yeah. All right. Well, those are the 4 decks there. If there's anything you guys think that we missed or you wanted to add to any of those decks, please let us know in the comments below. Really quick, before we move on to Stump the Smith Savant, I did forget to plug this a little bit. We did have which was the colors protection you would use the most from our last episode. And surprisingly, Mithril Coat did win that with 50% of all the votes.
Yeah, they got a lot of it.
Commander's Plate was in second at 29, but then Plaza Heroes and Eldrazi Monument was at 10. So that was interesting, though, because it's such a new card, but I love this card a lot. I'm surprised Plaza didn't get higher on that whole list there.
As well. That was my thought as well.
So, all right. Now I have to move on to Stump the Smith Savant, and you can't see what I'm going to do here. So here we go. Let's get over to Stump. Where's my Stump? There we go. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. All right. If you don't know how this game works, I am going to read the flavor text of a card, and Lowry is going to try to guess the card by asking yes or no questions. Every yes will hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every no will hear this.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
He will get up to 5 wrong guesses before he's considered stumped. He gets up to 3 clues. If he can get everything about the card but can't get what the card name is, he will get the initials of the card. If he has a bonus clue left over, or he has a clue left over, you will get a bonus clue that should help give it away. I'm not going to do the stupid joke I do every single time. I have eliminated the chat, so chat can play along and see if they can beat Lowry to the punch. We do have, what was the giveaway? I don't remember. It was a proxy of some sort, but now I don't remember which one it was. It's not Roaming Throne.
I don't really either.
I'll have to look back on the other episode to see, but it is a foil proxy.
That was like a week and a half ago.
This is something like this. This was last Stump's prize, but I'll figure out which one it is. It was from last month's proxies. Every 3 weeks, we will add a card to the ante. Card has to be in at least 10,000 EDH rec decks. All right. And if you have any, if you want to enter, make sure you message me if you're a part of the Discord directly, or email us at commandersmiths@gmail.com. All right, here we go. You ready for this? Let's see. I got to get the flavor text up. And there we go. Oh, crap. Our stumper is Curtis Rogers. I picked Josh, but I guess I had already done his and I didn't take his name out of the thing. So Curtis Rogers is our stumper for this week.
Okay.
All right. So after after waking to the magic of Llanowar, no dreams can compare. Miri of the Weatherlight. After waking to the magic of Llanowar, no dreams can compare. Miri of the Weatherlight. I think the cast messing up has thrown me off into like this spiral where I really can't read, like more than normal.
Oh
tonight.
no, we don't need that. Okay, so initial thoughts are they're talking Llanowar is green, Miri of the Weatherlight is green-white. This is all kind of probably older story, so like 3-time spiral. That's kind of where I'm at. Dreams tend to be like blue and nightmares tend to be black. So I would say this is in the green or blue color identity. Is this green and or blue color identity?
Hello, boobies.
All right. So not an artifact, which could have happened, but can I get the first clue, please?
The art features elves and a cat warrior embracing the refreshing rain in the forest. The art features elves and a cat warrior embracing the refreshing rain in the forest.
One more time.
The art features elves and a cat warrior embracing the refreshing rain in the forest.
Embracing? Is that the word that you're...
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so the cat is Miri, likely, and the elves are likely from Llanowar. They are embracing rain, which, again, both those, like, rain is blue, forest green.
Renshai's on track.
Nice. I'm thinking it almost feels like a life game, but I don't think that's the case. I don't have a real idea, so let's go with, is this a non-permanent spell?
Hello, boobies.
All right, so we're talking instant or sorcery. I'll take a second clue, please.
The text features something that will help your tapped creatures block. The text features something that will help your tapped creatures block.
What does that mean? Second, can I get that clue again, please?
The text features something that will help your tapped creatures block.
Can I get the first clue, please?
The art features elves and a cat warrior embracing the refreshing rain in the forest.
After waking to the magic of Llanowar, no dreams can compare. Is it an instant?
Hello, boobies.
Is it green?
Hello, boobies.
Uh-oh.
I'm not getting the picture in my head, but I have an idea of what the card is. Before I hear the third clue, I'm going to say that it's Tempest. 1 green, instant. the picture of it is not there. I feel like I don't recall a cat in it. Can I get the third clue, please?
This card is in 22,000 EDH rec decks. It was first printed in Weatherlight.
Did I say Tempest?
Yeah, you said
Weatherlight.
Tempest.
I mean, Weatherlight makes sense too.
And most seen in Lathro Blade of the Elves decks.
I'm very certain that is what's going on here. Is it Vitalize?
Hello, boobies.
Woo! You got it.
I guess there is a cat there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever. I knew about the one. I don't think I knew there was rain in there.
I didn't either until I had to look at the picture. I was like, oh, it's raining. And actually you can see it better in the 7th edition one. Oh, maybe not. But it's like, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, look see, it's like rain there. All these little
Hard to
things
even
there.
see. Oh, I can see a little bit on the trunk down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right
Down
here
there.
and everything. Like
Yeah.
I know what I've seen this card 1,000 times, just
Yeah.
in my collection,
Yep.
just going through it. And I don't put it in decks or anything, but I've seen it so many times and never realized what was actually happening in the picture.
No idea. There we go.
Good job, Lowry. I forgot to mention you were 82 and 28. So this is next week will be week number 3. Speaking of, I should do the drawing, and hopefully it's the person that entered.
Who has next week?
Curtis, by the way, you can send in this Vitalize if you like. Sign that bad boy, and it'll make the walls of shame, I guess. All right.
That
putting this up
seems
here.
depressing. And sorry that you don't get whatever proxy we forgot we were trying to give away. Is that what that is? We'll figure that
We'll
out.
figure it out next week.
Whatever.
Beer Doctor is our
Ooh.
stumper for next week. So again, remember
Right on.
to send those to, if you're a part of the Discord, to me directly, or if you're not. Actually, Curtis was not, so that was one of our a lot of times it's our Discord people, but that was by email. So you can shoot us an email at commandersmiths@gmail.com. All right. Well, that should do it for this week. Sorry for the hiccup earlier, but we'll get things back on track. That should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
I
And thank you,
love
Renshai,
boobs. I'm
AJ,
talking
Robocop,
tatas.
Ted,
I
Paradox,
love boobs.
Scott,
I'm fucking
Chris,
for honkers.
and a bunch of others that were on
I
earlier
love
that I
boobs.
can no
Thanks
longer
for the
see because I got
memories.
eliminated.
I love boobs.
And get ready for the new outro. Hey gang, the best way to support the Commander Smiths is to make sure you slap that like button. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel. Also, check out our online store, commandersmiths.com, where we have metal tokens, mugs, t-shirts, playmats, and more.